This is my first trade recap on this channel. I'm going to use it for documentation and post trade recaps every day. So at market open, I was pretty neutral. I could take shorts or longs. We were showing a little bit more of bearish structure, so I was looking more for shorts. There wasn't too many targets on the 4 hour. We had this 1 hour intermediate high up here, and then we were also in a 1 hour gap, which is perfect to look for a resweep right after market open and then take shorts down to the lows, which is exactly what I was looking for right at market open. Yeah, we were in that 1 hour. We had a 15-minute gap below, which I would have gone break even at. And then ES also looked pretty much the exact same. We were in the 1 hour, or actually we had the 1 hour right above. So at market open, I was looking for a resweep on NQ and then ES to manipulate into this 1 hour gap and then take shorts down to the lows down here. We also had the 15-minute below on ES. And as you can see, we were, on NQ not as much, but we were accumulating right here. So we were just looking for some manipulation and distribution for AMD. I also was willing to take longs up to resweep this 1 hour gap. Just because ES was so close to this 1 hour gap and hadn't hit it yet. I was pretty confident if we were to come down first. We could look for longs up to the gap on ES, and then which on NQ would, just be this high. So anyways, I was just looking for a patty swing. And so market opens. We open higher. At this point, I was just looking for a 30-second inverse to take shorts. Right here, we are man, I didn't even realize we created equal highs on ES earlier when I took the trade, but I don't think that's too relevant, just being that ES manipulates into the 1 hour gap up here. And then NQ swept the highs I was looking for it to sweep. Again, I'm just looking for the 30-second inverse. We had this good displacement candle, but I wanted a little bit more of confirmation. If you look on the 1 minute, there's a 1 minute gap right here, and we were showing some decent reaction off of it. Generally, in the last few months, we weren't getting the highest time frame inverse when we're looking for Judas swings. And this is a Judas swing, so if we just got some good displacement through, I was willing to take shorts here. Oh, shoot. So on this displacing, so as we're displacing lower, I think I took shorts. Right around here. Just because we were displacing, I knew that we weren't going to come back up. Since we were displacing, I knew that we were going to inverse the 1 minute, and so there was no reason for me to wait. It was going to be a really, really fast break even. And on ES, when I took the trade, we were right about here, and so I was just going to enter the trade, and I was going to go break even immediately because ES was hitting the 15-minute. So I enter the trade immediately, stops to break even. I was gonna we I would have had TP1 at 1-to-1 in the 15-minute gap. So TP1 right here. And then second TP is going to have all the way down here just because I thought this low was pretty irrelevant. If you look on the higher time frame, this low isn't really reacting off of, it's not an intermediate low. And I like to put my TPs at intermediate lows. All the way down here, this is in a 30-minute gap. And so I'm willing to, it's all the way down here. It's also in a 1 hour gap. So that's the intermediate low that I would want to put my final TP at. So 1-to-1 and then 1-to-2.3 would be where my take profit was. So I'm in the trade. Immediately get wicked out to break even, and we tank all the way down to where final TP was, which is disappointing, but I don't mind. A trade like this, I would usually be confident in to not go break even, but these last few months, market hasn't been moving exactly how I'd want it to ideally move, so there's been lots of break even trades. I think the last 8 of 10 break even trades that I've had have saved me from a loss, so I'm going to go break even a lot faster because that's just how the market is moving right now. It's just summer price action. Hopefully in the next few months I'll be able to move away from going break even so fast and be able to take some good trades like this, because once we tap into this 1 hour gap on ES and sweep the intermediate high on NQ, there's no reason for us to come back up. And then we're printing bearish structure. We're just tanking down lower. There's no reason for us to go back up higher. Or no reason for us to react off of this 15-minute. That being said, though, I'm glad I went break even in it just because that's how the market's been moving. It is what it is. Break even trade I finished up. Made $64 for the break even. Then at this point, I was considering looking for a long. Not right off of this low. I wanted to see some better structure moving up. There was a decent resweep right here and then a possible 30-second long. That's just a trade I wasn't willing to take. We were so bearish. There was no reason for me to take it. We had the 15-minute right above, but I didn't think that was too relevant. Anyways, it probably would have been a break-even trade, tapping the 15-minute coming back down. But at this point, ES was gunning for these intermediate highs, intermediate 1 hour highs, and we also created a 4 hour gap above on both NQ and ES. So that would be final TP. Is that a mitigated 4 hour gap up here? So good draws above. Good draws above. We just went external. Now we're going to go internal. I think there's good narrative behind taking longs here. I don't think this would have been necessarily a great long, just because it would just be a liquidity sweep of intermediate lows and a 30-second inverse. There's not much else that would make me want to take that trade. Anyways, we're displacing through the 15-minute gap on ES and NQ. I really was expecting this to get inverse no matter what. We also inversed the 5 minutes, so there wasn't really any reason for us to respect that 15-minute. So all I was looking for at this point would be a retrace into 5-minute gap, and then take continuation longs up to the 1 hour intermediate and 4 hour up here. ES was the leading asset, so I would go break even when ES hits it. But as you can see, we kind of just print higher. ES ends up hitting this 1 hour intermediate high, so I'm not going to be willing to take longs when ES had just swept that liquidity. I think I hopped off here. Let's see. We end up getting that retrace, and we inverse the 15-minute, move into the 5-minute gap. I mean, like, you could take a 1 minute long right here. I don't know if this played out. I wasn't on the charts, but let's just see if this plays out. I mean, ES took out the draws. I would never take this trade, but let's just see. So no, doesn't play out. Would have created an SMT. Anyways, that's my trade recap for today. Finished up $60, break even. First trade recap on this channel, so I'm gonna document everything.